Free State in the first division called Roses United. And as I say, may their souls rest in peace, both Michael Mkambule and Nkosi Dlamini. Really looking for some good action here today. I was having a look at Tape Ira, the Ivorian 28-year-old goalkeeper who signed from Hadia in the Ethiopian Premier League. And he's a really, really big unit in defense for TX Galaxy. And so far, their defense has not been as good as they wanted to, conceding 2 goals against Siwilele in a draw in the opening round of the season away. And then at home against Mamelodi Sundowns, conceding even 1 more than that, as Sundowns won for the first time, having not played in the opening round. That match, by the way, will take place on Wednesday night. So we're underway then at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium in KwaMahlanga. TX Galaxy and Golden Arrows, and TX Galaxy will attack the goal to the left-hand side of your screen, where Edward Mayova is waiting. The mostly white-clad Lamontville Golden Arrows side, William Shongo, with a rather nice decorative front of the jersey, I must say.
In fact, if there was anything I was going to comment about earlier, was that how beautiful that shed looked. If I can have the replica of that, gee, I'm very, very happy. Not because I support arrows, but I just like bright colors on me. But yes, let's hope those bright colors bring them a little bit of fortune going forward in attack today.
Well, the Golden Arrow side, not the only side to come up with those sort of colors, as Nhlanhla Gata looks for something from match referee Michael Mosemeng, who is in charge of this one, along with Romario Piri and Modisa Moretzi. The 4th official is Abraham Mashala. Gata not getting anything out of the challenge from Mlondi Mtwango. It's come through the junior ranks at the Rockets, as have a couple of other players like Opa Motong at right-sided fullback, like Makama Rantoa, and a couple on the bench as well, including Modella, the goalkeeper. Marco, who's come through the DDC ranks, and another like Spamandla and Guenia, former under-20 international, who's on the bench today. So nice to see the youngsters and the development that's come through. Huge mistake at the back by Tapeira. Is an opportunity to score a goal, and that's a rather palpable miss, I feel.
I guess what happened to the Tape in that moment, he was looking for opening, for spaces that are open where he can kick the ball to, but he lost sight of Sedwin George, who was, of the attacking player. I think it was
Vanille,
yeah, closing him down, and that can happen a great deal. You've got to keep alive your view of what's happening around you, and that you don't get caught in this type of situation.
Absolutely massive goal kick from the 28-year-old. Interesting to see him Velasi in an attacking midfield position. William Shongo, the bloke's 37.5 years old, and he's playing in an attacking position, not out at that right side at fullback. He's absolutely amazing.
Listen, I'm sure a lot of people remember him as a right fullback, but 2 seasons ago he featured in the center of the middle as a more defensive midfielder. But last year he surprised us with playing more as a number 10. But today maybe he's dropped a little bit to a number 8 position, where he is able to help the midfielder, the Ngozi. But that's a beautiful situation for any coach to have a player with that type of versatility.
TX Galaxy always have so much support, it doesn't matter where they play. The band is again making its presence felt here in KwaMahlanga. A little touch there for Seleleko Mahlambi, the 28-year-old. Amazulu and Cape Town City Junior. Nice work done defensively by Ronaldo Van Niel, who'll lurk wide on that left-hand side. He has Gaza. Second touch of the ball for Nhlanhla. Shepherded all the while by Mlondi Mtwango. Ayubulela Makwele, and hasn't he risen to greater heights since he left Royal AM? Mabaso forward. Osborne Malaleka trying to make some progress, and Junior Dion trying to get in the mix early as well. Don't forget the leading goal scorer from the Betway Premiership last season with 14 goals. And alongside of him, is Ronaldo van Niel on that left-hand side for Golden Arrows. He's just getting a touch of the ball now. 13 goals in the Motepe Foundation Championship, the first division, alongside of Ntutuko Mlotshwa, who played at Larumo Lions and was in the starting lineup for Chippy United today. So the leading goal scorers from the first division find themselves in the top flight, which is understandable. We saw that from the player that joined Stellenbosch FC from Hungry Lions last season and has now also joined Chippy United.
But look, anybody that is exciting in the attacking or in the attack, whether in the first division, at least when you sign them, you expect a little bit of them being able to circle a little bit quicker and provide their ability to score goals. There's a lack of goal scorers in the league. And so if you have anybody with a little bit of ability playing in attack and scoring goals, it doesn't matter the level, you want to at least give them a chance to play at the high level, so see if they can adapt.
Now the player I was referring to was Muzamukle Kanyi, who signed from Hungry Lions down to Stellenbosch FC since released, as I said. Golden Arrows looking a little bit hungry as Junior Dion. That's a good defending from Vuluyeke Zulu, former Richards Bay FC centre-back, but he'll be hungry to open his account this season.
Already pressure is mounting on him, and this time the ball comes a little bit higher, but the type of balls that he scores are those that are played a little bit low into the net post, where he runs in front of the defender unnoticed. Yeah, you're talking about the youngster that scored, that banked 3 goals on his debut for Stellies.
Incredible. What a debut, Friday night, a hat-trick.
Doing too much, Matlambi. He had a chance to see if he can cross that ball, but took forever. He had other ideas. I think he lost the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure Gavin Hunt must be very happy to have seen a Paulo Kwayiba there as well down in Stellenbosch. Good victory at home by 3-1 over Marumo Gallants, and Kuan Plaikis has put his name up. He's only 20 years old on debut. Bangs in a hat-trick for Gavin Hunt, and there's no greater mentor, I don't think, in the game of football that over the longevity that he's had, Gavin Hunt.
He can spot them very young and only based on potential, and thereafter it is up to the player himself to show what he's got.
Ronaldo van Niel. Motorong gets the better of the former Hungry Lions player. Just waiting for him to settle down a little bit. I watched him in the quarter-final against Kaizer Chiefs, and he just seemed to be just a fraction over anxious. There were a couple of times when he overran the ball. In fact, I think we were about 3 or 4 during the first half, and then he maybe ran out of gas in the second half a little bit. But there's no doubting his potential and his ability, and hence being signed by Bafana Bastende.
It's a matter of time before he settles down and starts scoring goals on a regular basis. But also, I think every now and then, from where he picks up that ball, for me, I would like to see him playing as an inverted, because it looks like his left is very, very strong.
Definitely.
And it gives him a chance to cut into the inside, and the goals in front of him does open up. So that's where most of those attacking white players get to score more goals than they used to.
Upon Motorong.
A new formation, of course, from TS Galaxy, now playing with 3 at the back. Getting a beat from the wing backs. Matlambi on this left-hand side, playing as inverted. Nkulu on the right. He's left-footed.
Zulu for TX Galaxy, who have never lost at home against Lamontville Golden Arrows. So no away victories for Arrows in the meetings that they've had. And they've been, this is the number 7. Early opportunity, and just over the top from Sedwin George. First real opportunity for TX Galaxy, and a man who 10 seasons ago for Royal Eagles, remember Royal Eagles back in the day? Scored 20 goals in the first division.
And I'm telling you, if that ball was on target. I don't think Mahova could have been able to, because he slips just before he prepares himself to take off to make the save. And I'm trying to imagine then, should that be had been on target, I don't think he would have recovered to make a save.
Absolutely not. But it's nice to see, as I say, 2016-17 season. Went on to Ajax Cape Town, didn't make quite the impact. Here's another curling effort from Victor Letsawalo, and the 33-year-old scored a brace against Mamelodi Sundowns, and there's no doubt that his confidence is high and his hunger is just as desperate to get more goals in the Premier League.
Even better, I think, this season is going to be for him, because, like you mentioned already, George is playing next to him. He's playing with a partner right at the top of the formation, something that I didn't have in the past. So I'm hoping that will expose him to better situations, like you just see now. That was a hold back by Sergeant George, who was able to roll it back to him. So that's a competition that the coach is still looking at to see if it can improve.
Makwele. Nice and composed from Ntandi Nkosi Mabaso. Just 22 years old, signed from Midlands Wanderers, who finished third from bottom in the first division last season. Ayanda Gianni, the young captain of Lamontville Golden Arrows, is 23 years old, but great leadership qualities from Ayanda Gianni. Another former Royal AM player, and there were a couple of Royal AM players that Golden Arrows signed after the demise of the Royal side, and one of them was Aibulele Makwele. You also have, as we said, Gianni. And then on the bench, you've got Tepilani Kumalo, signed from Royal, Sabelo Sitole, signed from Royal as well. So a whole head full of players that were picked up from the defunct club. Ayanda Gianni, nice high line here from Abafana Bestende and Nkubeko Dlamini. Such a workhorse in that midfield for the Lamontville Golden Arrows, and no doubt tonight he'll be a busy chap as well. Vanille fouled by Sianda Polu. Really free kick for Abafana Bestende. Sunsetting away behind the combox, and won't be long before we're all dark in Komaklanga. Ball doesn't reach Ayanda Gianni. Nicely tapped away by Mwango. Makwele. The Lamontville Golden Arrows showing the sort of form that we saw against Kaiser Chiefs in that victory on the 9th of August in the MTN 8 quarter-final. Makwele losing possession, looks to fight back with it as well. And Velase, nicely tapped away by Kulakani Shezi, who was the goal scorer. The only goal of the season so far for Abafana Bestende. And William and I were having a discussion about Peterson's positioning and the goal that came off that right-hand side by the 25-year-old fullback.
The question that I still want to pose to him is that was that his intention, or it just happened that it went in the direction? Let's see if he'll be honest enough to tell us that, look, I was trying to get that ball across to Dion, and somehow the goalkeeper was left. But listen, if you spotted him and he decided, for me, gee, the level of accuracy to beat from that type of angle.
And the distance, it was incredible, absolutely. Yeah. Opa Motong. Very patient start for TX Galaxy. We used to them playing with a lot of flair and a lot of vigor, attacking the opposition, just as TX Galaxy did against Mamelodi Sundowns when they met on the 11th of August. That's just 5 days ago. 5-goal thriller. Maklabi. Wonderful season last time out. He's a diminutive little fella, but I tell you, he gets through so much hard work, does the 21-year-old. by Mabaso, and now an opportunity to attack by Osborne Maluleka. So this pitch is going to get some traffic here this coming season, as we were told that TX Galaxy are going to bet 5 of their Betway Premiership matches here, which leaves 10 for the Mbombela Stadium, and then whatever cup matches they decide to play and where, because don't forget there are those 3 cup competitions in the Premiership of South African football. The MTN8 in its semi-final stages. There's still the League Cup and the Nedbank Cup as well to come over the next 10 months of what is bound to be exciting football. Fascinating match for Orlando Pirates this afternoon. If you missed that result, 3-0 over Chippa United in Durban, 0-0 at half-time, and you can imagine the discussion in the change room with Coach Wadu. But it all turned out rather well in the second 45 minutes for the defending champions, who are now top of the table. Lovely bursting run here by Abafana Westende, and Junior Dion is claiming a foul and maybe hoping that Ronaldo van Niel was in the right position to pick up that ball. Straight away over the transition. Still an opportunity for Maklambi. He's a slippery man, is Maklambi. Sidwin George as well. Arrows have proven their defensive strategy is a good one. Their organization through Pitso Gladla seems to be pretty spot on, hence not conceding in 3 matches.
But looking to improve going forward with this game, with everything that they've done, is happy with its defensive work. But now, that's why Dion has to come into the picture in a big way to try and correct what is lacking in their games played now. It's goals.
Both of these sides in the bottom half of the table, and Arrows in 9th place with a chance to leap to 6th position. TX Galaxy could get into the top 8, just barely into 8th place with a victory here today. Headed away by Zulu, Maklambi, and suddenly Ronaldo van Niel. Somebody's been listening to you, William Shongwe, because he pops up on the right-hand side.
That's what I like to see. Honestly, I mean, for me, any player of his kind who has the ability to nibble his way through defenders, so that's the demands for him to fall a little bit central so he can have the opportunity to strike.
Litsawala with a good ball. Velase finding some space on the wide right for TX Galaxy. Well watched though by Osborne Maluleka. Moto again to Zulu. Twangu, neither side giving anything away so far, neither goalkeeper really being tested. There was that mistake from Tapeira that nearly led to an opportunity for Ronaldo van Niel earlier on, but the match has settled down rather nicely as Maklambi goes on a little diagonal run looking for Makamarantoa. Still a lot of feeling out races going on at the moment. Sidwin George, all of 34 years old, and at 24 years old, scoring those 20 goals in the first division for Royal Eagles. And Corsi intent from the right-hand side. Space in the middle from Velase. George! A little tap from Letsawala. No commitment in the shot, though. And suddenly, TX Galaxy are asking questions.
Creating good width on the right-hand side. Balls floated into that box is what has been the change. And understandably, if you've got Edwin George and Letswalo, you got to give them at least a chance to attack something that flies in the air or coming low across the face of goal.
Makwele. Edward Mayova, the 31-year-old Namibian-born goalkeeper.
Didn't ever look in last season.
Not at all.
which was a little bit of a surprise. I know the goalkeeper that featured more prominently,
Banjwa.
Banjo, that is, yes. And I can tell you the reason. Manova likes to build from the back. And Banjwa is the best when it comes to his footwork. He's excellent. So he helped his team build from the back. Unfortunately, Maova wasn't too comfortable with that. And so that was the preference to have Banjwa ahead of Maova was based on his ability to help the team play. Now, these are the type of cross I've been talking about. Look at the 4 attacking that box. That is a big improvement from TX Galaxy. They've always used 1 attacking player in the past. That's why they were very short in scoring goals. So Parker has made it clear that this is what he would like to see a bit more from his team.
It's always nice to hypothesize about things after the event, but in Lamontville, one wonders what the result would have been if he just hit that from the volley instead of trying a first touch. Got to be more decisive in the penalty area, but he's not a striker. I mean, he comes from a fullback position into that midfield and continues to be very impressive in the colours of red and black. Vanille suddenly in a little bit of space. Lovely little touch from him as well. Maklele, one way and then the other. Kobe, I beg your pardon, Kobe Kodlamini. Kobe plays for Chippa United. Mabaso, and just as good a player as well. Gianni. "20 minutes gone, no goals yet. TX Galaxy and Lamontville Golden Arrows. It's been 6 draws between the two sides in 15 matches that they've played in all competitions. 7 victories for TX Galaxy, only 2 losses in all of their 15 matches against Abafana Bestende. And one of them was on the 19th of May, 2021, biggest victory for Arrows against TX Galaxy, 3-0 on the day in a Betway match. Kumete, Modi and Makupela all scoring goals, but TX Galaxy did a lot better 10 years later. Beg your pardon, 2 years later, 29th of January 2023, where their biggest score at home was by 4-0 over Bafana Bestende. Mongai, Mahlangu Radebe, and a certain coach that now adorns a suit in the dugout of TX Galaxy, Bernard Parker. Ronaldo Vanille. Tulukani Shezi trying to get the better, but he had to cut inside on that occasion. I'm sure after his exploits against Chiefs, he's going to be well watched.
But what we've seen from Arrows in their effort to not lose ball position by forcing the ball forward is there's a lot of back passes being played. Clearly, it is the pressure that comes from that big man. That's another one, and you'll see so much more because 5 players in that middle of the park from TX Galaxy. Remember, they're playing with 3, so they've applied 5 in that middle. And if you're playing against Arrows, you know if you open yourself up in that middle, they will cut you to pieces.
Second strong challenge from Sianda Kulu. Again, nothing from Michael Mosemeng. Quite happy to allow the match to have a flow about it, which it certainly does at the moment. Zulu to Motaung. Once they're behind the halfway line, there's a lot of patience that's being employed. And Corsi was under pressure, too much pressure, and Golden Arrows have done well here. Ronaldo Vanille. Zulu comes to the rescue as Garza pops up on the left-hand side. Knocked away by Tope Ira. Scrambled back in defense as well as Osborne, Maruleka and Mabaso trying to keep TX Galaxy at bay on the transition. Both sides really do have attack on their minds, and while They have to defend as adequately as what they attack. So far, I don't think we've been devoid of good attacking activity. Ball bounces dangerously and allowed to do so by Bafana Bestende. Very nearly Letsawalo and George with a little sniff of the shot at the goal of Mayolda.
The structure that is there for TS Galaxy, it gives you an opportunity, even if it's an aimless ball played from a clearance, but if you got players in that area, it means even the second ball possibilities are in your favor. And this is the other possibility that TS Galaxy are looking for. Just have enough in that area, even the ball is flying high.
Already 18 goals that have come in the Betway Premiership this weekend, and there's a catch-up match on Wednesday, Sundowns against Marumo Gallants, to add more goals, and whatever comes out of this encounter as far as goals are concerned. Sedis with 3 goals, Amazulu with 2, Sekakuni with 2, Milford with their second victory, and Milford FC coming through the playoffs in the first division last season, lying in 5th place in the Betway Premiership. That's encouraging early days. Ball's gone out of play from Kulakani Shezi. In fact, he'd allowed it to go out of play with a touch from a TX Galaxy player. Now it's Ayanda Gianni. Ronaldo van Niel. Sort of half cleared by Ndwango, and Ndwango does get the better of the 24-year-old former Hungry Lions striker. Don't forget, we do have the Spinise and Win competition, and there's no doubt that there's a contender here or there, and it is, don't forget, the competition for the best dressed home supporter. And Willem Shonga, there's been an increase in the prize money if you're a card holder.
Yes, 30,000 of course if you're a card holder, and it remains at 10,000 if you don't have. So he's brought his own scoreboard into the stand. That for me is very creative.
He's made a lot of effort as well, with all the drapes of cloth around the stadium, just behind the goal of Tape Ira. Ndwango in the meantime trying to get rid of Ronaldo van Niel. He's done so as well, rather neatly, but easy for Gianni. Klantazwani doing a good job in that holding midfield pocket at the moment. Now a little run over here from Kulakani Shezi, and this has really caused problems for Kaiser Chiefs. He's just not able to keep it in play, but all of a sudden Shezi got rid of all of the TX Galaxy defenders on the left flank.
You've got to be appreciative of the pass as well, because a whole lot of times the passes of this nature gets blocked because the traffic in front of the ball carrier can be a problem. But this time I've seen quite a few of them as well being just lifted from behind that wall of players in front to get over. So that's very, very creative from Eris to try and find the run up front, because like I told you, that midfield is packed with TX Galaxy players.
He has one of the more experienced of them, from Velase. Ndwango forward, Van Niel gets the better of Velase, and the call comes a bit late from referee Mosameng, but it comes in any event, and Ndwango not quite impressed with the officiating. I don't think there can be too many complaints.
No, not at all. The ball was long gone.
Now space through the middle here for the TX Galaxy. It nearly reaches Edwin George and tapped away by Nklantla. Ronaldo van Niel looking for support up front. There wasn't any, except for Junior Gianni. Was forced almost to turn back, and you've spoken about it a number of times already, William Shongwe, and TX Galaxy loading the midfield and really looking impressive.
Very, very. I mean, I think the other thing that they're learning, of course, being able to score 2 goals and still concede 3 tells you the story that you're leaking goals. So I think with every game that you play, you want to be able to correct the previous mistakes from the previous game. So I guess by being able to load that much, it is in line with the problems that they're having.
I did like that pressure that was being exerted by Edwin George on Edwin Mayova, and Mayova having to hit the ball away very deep inside of his own half. Vilieke Zulu being a little bit naughty with the junior Dion. A bit of obstruction there from the former Richards Bay FC centre-back. Came more into form as we watch Cedwin George. Cedwin George with a little chip. Retsawalo! Still an opportunity. Velase off the post. And now the transition. Both sides have had opportunities tonight. It's going to be a matter of time before he scores a goal, Ronaldo van Niel. Arrows have a corner, by my estimation, it's the first one of the game. Comes just over the half-hour mark, and Ronaldo van Niel, Gianni, Sede Dion, all waiting in that penalty area. Oswald Maluleke in there as well.
Setting up a block, sorry, Kevin.
Mabaso. They'll continue on the attack, though, Arrows. Mabaso. Support coming from Garza. And the keeper had to be wide awake to that one. There were players lining up on that back post. It's a really, really quality ball from Garza.
And that's a decent throw from Tape.
Makwele switched on in defence for Lamontville Golden Arrows, and suddenly the pace of the match has gone to another level. Lovely ball played in, or was it, from Ronaldo van Niel? Zwane and Lamini looking up on it, but as quick as you like, the ball down the other end of the field, and this gives a little bit more space and a bit more angle as well for the home side. Nkosi Twango. Decent ball knocked in, and safety first by Osborne Maluleke, and just after Lamontville Golden Arrows have their first corner, the Rockets reply with one of their own.
And it's a good decision to play that ball out, because he was up against Cedwin George, who's the top, possibly the tallest in the field of play. And this is what I'm looking for, to see if we can set him up with more balls into that area, see if we can use his aerial presence.
Corner played short, Cedwin George. Now we're looking for something on the edge of the penalty area through Vilieke Zulu. Good clearance from Arrows, and everybody behind the halfway line for the visiting side. Twango forced to turn by Garza, who suddenly pops up back on the right-hand side. A little visit over towards the left, and Ronaldo van Niel suddenly playing as a front man in the place of Junior Dion. So they are mixing it up a little, Bafana Bestende.
Yeah, the game is a little bit too, it's a little bit too fast. I mean, for one moment it's tapping, or a defender picking it up, but next second the ball is an attack on the opposite end, and so it's very quick. Both teams, obviously, I think, with still full of energy, looking to see if they can get the edge over the other.
Mabaso to Gianni. Garza, just a little man, but he manages to get up adequately enough under no pressure whatsoever from TX Galaxy. Makwele. Still an opportunity to attack from Garza. Look at the space that Nklakla's got here. finds Van Niel. Dlamini. Wide by Maluleka. The turn of Lamontville Golden Arrows to start asking questions. Wasn't that a foul from Opa Motong? The referee has signalled it eventually for the challenge on Zwane.
Clipping his ankles is from Motong. Sometimes you got to be very cautious with this kind of set piece. I know you don't want to allow the player to turn, but if he's not turning, he's pushing his ball to the opposite end. So you got to be clever as a defender. You can't. Now it's a set piece. Arrows will have a chance to throw that ball into the most dangerous area in the field with no pressure.
Going for the left-footed option. Gianni with a knockdown. Doesn't reach Zwane. Good clearance from Sedwin George initially. They'll have to continue defending. Don't think we've quite seen the best of Victor Letswalo so far in this first half. Although they did have one little opportunity. And those two back passes continue to Edward Mayova from Gianni and from Makwele. Junior Dion still looking for work and finding it difficult to get past Zulu.
Well, maybe it's not happening in their favor, is errors. I feel like the width that we know they can create with the fullbacks flying forward hasn't come through as much. This is where Dion benefits from being able to attack the near post with the quality of balls played. So that is lacking today. It was because Galaxy are not allowing them to play as high as that to deliver those crosses to start with.
Absolutely. Mapaso, Maluleke can't find Van Niel. Pick up again by the Rockets. Away by Shezi. Deadlock not broken yet, and Maklambi looking for a little bit of a dummy and a bit of acceleration. Not able to quite find it on that occasion. Mkwele closed him down. Garza now, Ronaldo Van Niel. Clunkler Zwane looking on his left-hand side. Van Niel there for the second ball. Garza finds Mkwele. This is good play by Lamontville Golden Arrows. Garza again, Mkwele. Dion waiting, Van Niel waiting. Oh my word. Eventually a little bit of a hit in a hurry from Nkobeko.
One of the few competitions that we saw earlier. Maybe I'm thinking, was it too high for Letswalo to maybe hit it the first time?
How unlucky though from Falase. See the ball coming back off the post.
But it's exactly the decision that you want to see from Parker. Those two combining very well in the opposition's box.
Forward by Mkwango. Oh, that's a little bit of aerial play. George off the top of the crossbar.
I'm sure he's beginning to think to himself, when is he going to open up for me? Honestly, he's been doing all the hard work. He's running all over the place, applying pressure there and there, flicking balls all over. This was one that flowed perfectly for him. Maybe rushed it a bit by not allowing the ball to drop a little bit lower, but you're not giving so much time in that type of box. And a little lower, it would have been a brilliant goal.
Absolutely. No way through for Mklangla, who's really becoming more and more attacking. Remember him from the first division at JDR Stars and the University of Victoria Tucks. Hasn't found a way through yet, but he's working so hard. Mostly on that inside left channel, but there's no doubting his presence. Nobody quite there. Was it a handball? Makwele appeals. Some of the fans appeal. Nothing coming though, and Mklambi leaves it behind. Forages the ball nicely away though, and Mtwango comes to the rescue to cut out Ayabulela Makwele. Shezi in a hurry. Makwele. Dlamini again, Makwele to be the beneficiary of, and a nice clearance from Vilase. That'll be a free kick for TX Galaxy. Foul on Nkosi.
No, that would have been given.
He had his elbows in, and it looks almost as if it came off his hip as well, but so no damage done there. He was outside of the penalty area, but a free kick from that sort of area is always dangerous as Garza gets knocked over by Mtwango. And Golden Arrows would love the referee to bring out a yellow card, and Gianni, I think, is having a bit of a say. He's the captain of the side, and Mtwango is getting a lecture.
The fact that I think we saw another foul area from Mtwango, and that's what Makwele is trying to remind the ref that look, this is zero carrying now, so are you going to take a different action from it?
A match of high pace, high intensity. No goals yet. Floodlights taking full effect now, with the sun having set behind our commentary position in the main grandstand here at Solomon Makhalangu Stadium. Once again, big thanks to Buxton Tompeni and the Real Native FC team for inviting William and myself to their grand opening and the reveal of the team just down the road from the stadium here. They'll play their home matches here, will the former Kashrik Stars. Gasa forward. Nkosi. Wango, but the Rockets are going in the wrong direction.
Listen, I'm excited about the other invitation that we got. I don't know if we are in a space that we can reveal. It is fantastic. But hey, let's see what happens.
Mklambi trying to be fantastic. Kwango as well. Yes, very generous from Buxton Tompeni and his Real Native FC side. His hospitality has been extended beyond the reveal and launch of their side to William and myself to pop in for a braai and watch a game of football occasionally when we're in the area, which is rather nice.
Very nice.
Forward by Mklambi, or sort of anyway. Olo. Motong trying to get things forward here. Time running out in the first half for TX Galaxy and Lamontville Golden Arrows. 39 goals scored between the two sides, and meetings between the two since they first met in the Nedbank Cup in 2019. TX Galaxy won 3-1 after extra time. They went on to beat Chiefs in the final, don't forget. First and only NFD side to have won the final of the Nedbank Cup, Cup of Dreams, and all the years that it's been played. In the meantime, Mklambi again on the volley, but with the wrong foot.
Exactly, that's why I said this player is inverted. He's actually right-footed, but now you can see he was struggling. There with his right foot, he could have wrapped his foot around the ball, maybe delivered a decent cross or even a direct shot. Now, look at this. Should have done better. Instead of taking a direct shot, for me, maybe try to turn around instead to see if there's other options available for him.
Well, confidence indeed from Ayubulela Matwele. Remember him from Chukuma Chamadzuendila, signed by Roy Layen.
Yeah.
Pops up at Golden Arrows, and he's just improving and improving with every season. Nyeri is almost deputizing in the centre of defence for Abafana Bestende. Forward by Mabaso. Van Niel impeded by Opal Matong. Nice ball though by Dlamini. Almost finds Swanee. TX Galaxy wanting to turn this thing around before half-time, which is imminent. McClumbie waiting in the middle. Letsawalo doing all the hard work on the right.
Maybe something to note going forward. We see Machambi only around the center line, and his runs are like almost they end immediately without further progress. But because of this new position, he has to help out as a wing-back defensively. But when he picks up the ball, it's not as effective as it was, because if he picks it as a wide attacking player, it's a little bit closer to create damage in the opposition's goals. But now he has to pick up the ball here, make a run, and combine with one player before he can cross or deliver.
We'll wait to see if that's all changed by Bernard Parker, because both Bernard Parker and Pitso Dadla's sides failed to break the deadlock, even though there were opportunities from both sides. Mostly, I think, the better opportunities fall in the way of TX Galaxy, where Edwin George hit the crossbar of the goal of Edward Mayova. There was a chance for Velasi, who came back off the woodwork as well. Arrows have had their opportunities, but for me, TX Galaxy just shading the first half as far as their creativity and the dominance of the midfield as well. You can see the intensity in which the captain, Ayanda Gianni, is having a team talk before the crew gets into the dressing room and has a chat with Pitso Dladla. I think there'll be some happiness with TX Galaxy. What I do think that they need to do is be a little bit more clinical. Sedwin George and Letsawalo is a work in progress. And at some stage, I think it's got to come to fruition. Otherwise, there's going to be frustration for Bernard Parker. Plenty of end-to-end action. It's been a very pacey match as well, with lots of opportunity, but nothing that pleases the folk that like goals being scored. 0-0 in KwaMaklanga. It's half-time. Was neither TX Galaxy nor Lamontville Golden Arrows able to break the deadlock during the first half of this encounter in the Betway Premiership at Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. They still remain, both of them, without a victory this season so far. Yes, Chipper United, beg your pardon, but Lamontville Golden Arrows haven't lost a match, but they haven't won one either. Well, TX Galaxy have drawn one and lost one as we get underway for the second half of what should be, judging by the first half, an enthralling second 45 minutes. It is TX Galaxy in the red and black who will attack the goal to the right-hand side of your screen. And Lamontville Golden Arrows in their mostly white strip will play from right to left during the course of the second half. And immediately there's pressure in that Arrows penalty area from Makama Rantoa, the youngster from the right-hand side. Support will come from Sianda Polu. And William Shongwe, what's your anticipation of this next 45?
Well, first I would like to see if there's any change in the formation or even just the approach in itself, because there's just a lot of build-ups from Arrows in particular, and they kept hitting the wall in that middle of the park. But I think TX Galaxy had the same similar situation themselves. So are we going to see maybe a transformation to a more direct football, which Arrows are not used to? But I would like to see a bit more from TX Galaxy, just to try and get behind the Arrows defensive line.
Letsawalo picking up loose ball, but Ayanda Gianni back there to control matters for Bafana Bestende. If being inside your own penalties controlling. Edwin George in the meantime is drifted in front of Makama Rantoa. Zwane been a force to be reckoned with from Bafana Bestende.
Very impressive. He forms the three of that middle, but they're a little bit more offensive.
Good ball from Makwele. This is Shezi, who's caused problems for Kaizer Chiefs this season in the MTN 8. And Makwele can't hold on. That's a really nice challenge from Nkwango. Good ball from Edwin George, looking for Victor Letsawalo, but yeah, we've heard from Pitso Gladler about just how Arrows have been switched on defensively, and it showed right there again as Maluleka tries to make some ground, and Gaza starts the second half on the left-hand side, which means Van Niel is over on the other side, inverted.
It was a busy play in that first half. I'm talking for Neil, but he still doesn't quite get the right moments for him to maybe come a bit more central to at least have a go at the goalkeeper. That has been, I think, one of those challenges that a team doesn't quite open the opposition for the right creativity.
Pressure here on Zulu from Sede Dion. Nicely and calmly controlled to Motoron as the Ivorian chases. Mkhlambi. Players running away from him more than toward him, and Paul Velasi was in a really good position to pick up possession there, but that's a foul from Ayobulela Makwele.
Now let's see, what does Makwele do here? First, the push was a little bit high around the chest area, but he might have clipped him by the angle. But once again, it's a foul given away in a very, very good position for TS Galaxy, and with St. George and a few others in that box, there could be danger for Arrows.
Volkswagen nearly reaches Mvelazia, did reach Vulieke Zulu, not kept in play though. And Mvelazia, we had that wonderful opportunity in the first half. They came back off the left-hand upright, wearing the skipper's armband today. But again, well defended by Golden Arrows, and Edward Mayova in 3 matches yet to concede, and because we're in the second half of this one, that's over 300 minutes of football without conceding a goal. Probably about 315, 320 minutes by now. But down the other side, they're not scoring too many, and in fact, no goals in the Premier League so far from Lamontville Golden Arrows, but still with an opportunity to threaten a position in the top 8. Now, Edwin George, Victor Letsawalo. George has continued his run and finds him Velase. Lovely ball, Mkhlambi, man and ball at the same time. It's a challenge from behind, and Mkhlambi looks up rather bewildered from the seat of his pants. Ayanda Gianni comes to the rescue of his defenders, but it is going to be a free kick in a very nice area too.
That's maybe it's the difference. A possible direct kick from there, because all the others have been happening in a little wide area where you can't take a direct shot. So this one, for me, maybe is the better of them all.
If you look at the lights just briefly in that previous picture, William, of the surrounding homes, it almost looks like when the floodlights go off in a stadium and all the patrons have their flashlights on their cell phones. It's a really magical picture. Will this be a magical picture from Edwin George, looking to tee one up here and beat Edward Mayova? Try and open the scoring here in the second half. Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Defensive wall, even a player lying behind the wall for Bafana Bestendes. If Edwin George decides to go underneath the wall, which he doesn't do, it's a fabulous shot and it's just wide.
Wow. For one moment, he kept it low and it went past the defenders. Maybe because it was a little wide, it was able to go through. But we've seen bad set pieces taken. Like you said, you could almost anticipate that it's going over the bar. But this one, he kept it low, which was one very positive.
It's got it past that left-hand upright of the Namibian Edward Mayova's goal with a great deal of velocity, and everybody in the defensive Arrows was totally flat-footed. Wonderful effort. Flick on here to Van Niel. He's in space, checks off a defender. Can he open his account? High corner. Brave from Topa Ira.
Great goalkeeping. I mean, he's a big boy. He's a big unit. I mean, goalkeeper, when he comes out, he tries, makes himself big. A mistake by Velueke here, who dives in there. And I like from Van Niel's effort to try and steal it on that near post, because he doesn't have a right foot to maybe kill it into the far post. So that wasn't a bad idea either.
Second corner kick of the match for Golden Arrows. Only the first of the second half. Really good pressure. This is the best we've seen, I think, of Van Niel so far in the matches I've seen him play. Corner knocked away by Nkwango. Consecutive corners then for Arrows, and Tandi Nkosi Mabaso continues to be the deliverer of these plays. In fact, it's Garza now who's taken over. Junior Dion trying to escape the clutches of the defense of TX Galaxy. This one to more the edge of the penalty area, and Van Niel waiting. Another lunge at the ball from an Arrows player, but they're going to have to be watchful on the defense now. Ball bounces awkwardly for Garza. Very nearly benefiting Maluleke. Well, there's no shortage of pace in this encounter. End-to-end action and players with ideas near the opposition penalty area. A slip from Junior Dion. He's claiming he was fouled.
I thought so too. He has actually held his upper body or the jersey.
Makwele!
He was holding on to him. That's why he went down. And I'm sure he's still going to continue to complain, because clearly it wasn't picked up by the officials. I'm not sure if it would have been given as a penalty, but clearly.
Three corners already in the second half from the visiting side. As we've said, yet to earn a victory in any encounter against TX Galaxy in the matches that they played against each other. And this number 7, 4 wins for the Rockets, 2 draws, 14 goals scored, only 5 conceded. Golden Arrows looking to make a little bit of history. Assistant referee on the far side, Modisa Moretzi, with a lot to say on the positioning of the ball and all manner of other things with Ntandi Nkosi Mabaso. Mabaso's delivery. Sede Dion was there, and again claiming maybe that he was impeded. But forward now by Maklambi. Oops.
This is the early opportunity he created. He has time and is looking, and yet not enough space for him to squeeze it through. But I like his calmness. He was very composed up until the last second.
And he placed the ball in the perfect area, just to slide inside that right-hand upright of the goal of Tope Ira, who, as we've spoken about so far, is a rather large unit. But what I do like about Ronaldo Van Niel, it's the first time I've seen him taking on opposition players in the defense of the Rockets and beating them and creating an opportunity all on his own. And so that's work in progress, and the confidence he'll get from that maybe will benefit the youngster. In the meantime, here comes Nklantle Zwane. It's been impressive. Zwane runs into Motong. Still gets the pass away though, and he's himself not a small chap. Gasa. Nobody at the back post for Arrows, disappointingly. Zwane will try again. Good defense from Kulu. Well, it's all Golden Arrows at the moment.
Good recovery, eh? I thought Zwane was gone.
Golden Arrows nil, TX Galaxy nil. Fourth corner of the second half for Abafana Bestende, and the pressure starts to mount, and Pongo clears again. Assisted by Nkosi, and suddenly there's a breakaway attempt by Sidwin George. Little of the throw in here. Will TX Galaxy. Almost for a moment looked as if Mpomvelasi was back on the right back position, but he's moved more forward now into that more midfield position. Wango. Rontoa with the touch as well, and Ulu waiting for possession to come his way. It's not going to do that at the moment because Motom has moved it forward up towards the strike force of Victor Letsawalo. Dlamini, not a clean take from him. Opportunity for Letsawalo.
He's asking all the questions, but once again, it doesn't quite hit the sweet spot. It's a shot, but I don't think it had any effect of betting the goalkeeper.
It was a very nice first touch from Nklankla Gasa, and a yellow card for Opa Moto. Comes through the junior ranks, does Opa. He's had a good match so far. Was never going to get away with that one. Still waiting for the opening goal of this encounter. Osborne Maluleke and Nklankla Zwane trying to thread the eye of the needle through to Ronaldo Van Niel, who'd made a nice little run, and flicked forward by Victor Letsawalo, who just moments ago had a nice turn and shot. Nice control by Kulu. Velase with a pirouette, and Van Niel's done nicely defensively. No, he hasn't. Yeah, a big shove between the shoulder blades, and an opportunity for TX Galaxy on the far post as well.
It's been half chances more than anything.
Ramova was well in control of the situation, I feel, and you can sit back and watch his team moving forward now. Lovely ball through the middle, and just a little touch from Sede Dion, and that could have been all she wrote.
Phew. That's how close he came. He gets a touch there, and he turns. It's a goal written all over it.
Totally. Meantime, TX Galaxy have set back for the majority of the second half so far, and one has to only look at those 4 corners that have been conceded in the second half by TX Galaxy, to the pressure that's coming from Bafana Bastende. But suddenly, TX Galaxy are looking to change into second gear here. Motoong forward. Just not enough control in that penalty area.
Nope.
Much better attacking ideas coming from TX Galaxy. They've soaked up the pressure and they've survived so far with the attack coming from Van Niel and company. Garza and Van Niel trying to perpetrate the opening goal of this encounter, and that's good defense once again by Opa Motaung.
Yeah, it looks like Garza ran out of ideas there, but what Motaung did well, he didn't fall for any trap.
Lorraine Magagula is our Sibonise and win victor here tonight with big love glasses and all the effort she's made. And because she is a card holder, William Shongwe, you know what the result of all that is. 30 grand later.
Beautiful.
30,000 bucks. You come to watch a football match. Opportunity here. Mklambi wasn't able to take it, and lots of pressure on Edward Mayova suddenly. How Mklambi didn't score there, only he'll be able to tell us, but what an anxious moment for Bafana Bastende.
I think you're going to give it to the defenders in the way that they shuffle across, because I thought he's got gold. His path towards the goal was clear and wide open. And for some reason, at the last second, the block came. And beautifully so. Yeah, TS Galaxy continue to create those moments where you think maybe this one. Oh, beautiful play by Letsoalo initially, to be able to chest it into the path of
and then the defenders, the defenders were trying to clear, and it might have been Dlamini who caught him on the top of his head. In fact, that's Gianni. I don't think it's Gianni that caught him though. Concern for the youngster, and concern caused by the youngster for the visiting side. Referee Michael Mosemeng in communication with his assistant referees. Gianni to get us back underway again. There have been opportunities, and still fancy that the better has been created by TX Galaxy, although we have had a couple of good chances in the second half, and Neil looking to create another, as he did from the opposite side, but Twango has his number. Followed by Sedwin George. Masquerading all on his own. Victor Letsoalo, absolutely no support for him on that occasion. TX Galaxy still playing with 10 players because Maklambi's off the field of play. Dion! Matahoon gets himself beautifully in the way to intervene in front of the Ivorian.
It's been that kind of game. Just when you think it's wide open for a shot, and just like that, in the nick of time, it's blocked.
Dlamini to Shesi. Again, space in the penalty area. Again, no contact made by an Bafana Bastende player. Knocked back in again. Twango again clears. Sedwin George. Letsoalo against Gianni. Gianni wins that round.
It's proving to be quality with every game that he plays. Gianni has grown in leaps and bounds from the time that he started as a central defender, and many other defenders have come and gone, and he's remained.
This man's been impressive tonight, Londi Mtwango. Opomoto as well, despite the yellow card. Defensively, keeping the fleet-footed Golden Arrow strikers away from the danger zone. And one must be honest that a couple of matches that I've seen Golden Arrows play this season, the MTN8 match against Kaizer Chiefs and this encounter, the defenders in the league have learned to cope with Junior Dion. We saw it from Kaizer Chiefs, we're seeing it from TX Galaxy today, and maybe he's just got to slightly reinvent himself. I don't think there's a great deal of work he's got to do, but he's not finding the space that he found last season.
Yes.
Van Niel. Dion goes down too easily on the edge of the penalty area, almost as if he's looking for a favour or two, which isn't forthcoming. TX Galaxy on the transition. Gianni, impeccable.
Again. Incredible recovery and reading of the game.
Still haven't seen either coach, Parker or Dladla, go to the bench. Dion finally does get some sort of a touch.
He's surrounded by 2-3 defenders just about every time that the ball is flying into that box. They've made it real hard. I mentioned that from where he's profited from crosses is when they played low and when he makes that last second dash forward to intercept.
Still plenty of time for him to perpetrate his opening goal of the new season. In the meantime, Letsoalo! Oh, he was in beautiful space. The defense was backing off, and suddenly he arrived in the penalty between the two centre-backs, didn't get any sort of touch on it.
And he's thinking to himself, you know what? Another early run will have done the trick. He's just about, in all the situations that we've seen whereby he's failed to connect, he's like being able to arrive just a second delay from his starting point.
Forward by Ngoango. George will do well to keep this in play. Has kept it in play in front of Ayanda Gianni, who tracks him back from the point of which he departed. Velase. Mklambi just not able to thread the eye of the needle. And George was waiting, and George had so much space around him. And if that ball had reached Sidman George, he might be singing a different hymn. Meantime, though, Van Niel. Makwele. The Lamontville Golden Arrows have had a couple of teeth pulled because they've lost their bite a little bit in the second half. Yes, there have been opportunities and set pieces and all manner of things, but that one opportunity that was saved came from Van Niel, and oh, there's another that is saved by the lanky Ivorian.
But played direct to the keeper from such a narrow angle. The question that I'm not sure, was the meaning to cross or was he trying to score from there? Impossible. Well, you can't say impossible. It's all a goal. It's just a week or two ago.
Exactly. 5 goals conceded by TX Galaxy already this season in 2 Premier League matches after having finished 12th in the Betway Premiership last season. Lamontville Golden Arrows had a tremendous finish to the season, and they ended up in 6th place on the table, unbeaten in their last 7 encounters, 3 wins and 4 draws. It was also a good end to the season for TX Galaxy, unbeaten in the last 4, with that victory over Mamelodi Sundowns as well. But Arrows had a tremendous end to the season before Mangoba Ngwiti went to Tanzania, joined Stevie Barker there. It's 2 big sides, like in South Africa, the Soweto derby with Chiefs and Pirates. Young Africans and Simba FC are the 2 big sides in Tanzania, and South African coaches are coaching at both. Steve Barker and Mangoba Ngwiti, and Mangoba Ngwiti's already lifted a trophy. Gianni to Van Niel. Nice little cut inside from him. Good vision too. Makwele. Can he pull the trigger? He doesn't look as if he's going to. Kulikani Shezi. Makwele. There's a bit of space over with Maluleka on the left-hand side, and even Klanklazwani is waiting. Van Niel waits as well. Klanklazwani. Kobeko Dlamini. Maluleke. Van Niel again. I do like the way that he's improving in such a short space of time with Arrows. But how about that piece of defending from Letsawalo? Yeah, it's all defense from TX Galaxy, and they're inviting trouble here, one feels. Klankla. Maluleke and Klanklazwani again. Walking onto it, Mabaso. Klanklazwani again, just about enough boot on it from Kulu. Shot from Makwele. Blocked by him for Velase. And all the questions are being answered positively by the Rockets currently. But William Chongwe, it's the right side are applying all manner of pressure.
Sometimes you'll think TS Galaxy in this case are sitting back. No, they're being forced back. They're not being able to be given enough time to recover, to push a little bit higher in the field, because Arrows has had all the ball position. Even when it's cleared, it falls into an Arrows player and action is back.
You do have a throw in and you take too much time over it, and referee Mosembeng counting down, and ball not thrown in by Mkwango. Will have to do a spot of defending again, and has done more than adequately, and might pick up a free kick as well, and does. Garza has been a lively player, just 20 years old in Klankla. Letsawala with a flick on. Maluleke will clear. A run for Van Niel. Motorong on duty. The ball goes past him. Velasi, he's got a turn. Van Niel skips off another challenge. Surely he's got to pull the trigger. And Sede Dion doesn't take it on the volley.
He allows the ball to bounce. And once it bounces, it can go anywhere. That he could have had the chance to. I thought he was going to do so, but he's strong of it is the left. That's
well,
why.
One's not a right-footed player and the other one's not left.
Only, unfortunately, him trying to set it up into his good or stronger left foot took forever and eventually was closed down. He's definitely something to look forward to going forward. Gaining experience in the Betway Premiership.
Osborne Maluleka, that's a very nice piece of defending from Abaso, as Edwin George was asking questions. Holds the ball up beautifully, does Van Niel. Klanklazwani. More pressure coming from Kasa. Maluleka again free on the left-hand side. So, and Klanklazwani. Gianni. Look how high Shezi suddenly finds himself. Zwani, oh, there was such an option for Maluleka on the left-hand side. They decided to go the other way, and Gianni will find Kulikani Shezi. Garza's held the ball up beautifully, and now they've given it away, and Shezi can't make contact with it, but still, all Lamontville Golden Arrows. Teagues Galaxy are being mighty watchful at the moment. Eventually the ball does come to Maluleke. In fact, that's Mabaso. Dlamini. Mabaso. Ball was intended to Van Niel, but that's a really tight piece of defending.
Maybe needs to build a little bit of muscle so that he can use it against the defenders. There he was easily shoved off the ball.
Garza briefly going in the wrong direction, but he pirouettes himself away from the Teagues Galaxy defenders. Suddenly a bit of an injection of pace by Makwele. Garza! 3 Arrows players. They do keep it in play here, do the visitors. Until that's a mistake from Maluleke. We are going to have changes here. So it looks like Rantoa is going to make way for Mlungisi Mbunjana. 35-year-old, one of the few remaining Highlands Park players that are at Teagues Galaxy. Don't forget it was Highlands Park who sold their status, the Premier League status, to Teagues Galaxy all those years ago. But Mbunjana will come on for Omakama Rantoa and bring that experience, and he is a fabulous holding midfield player, and he'll play just behind Nkosi, and maybe Nkosi will be allowed to go a little bit further forward. But Mlungisi Mbunjana is a quality player.
But he brings stability. I think what was happening is Teagues Galaxy.
Let's watch out for a moment. Gets his first touch, does Mbunjana, but it's all Lamontville Golden Arrows still. They continue to pressurize, they continue to look for angles, and Klanklazwani. Was there a foul?
Yeah, hand into his face.
Sianda Polo.
I was talking about Mbunjane. Now let's look at this if it does happen. Yes. From Zwane. Mbunjane, with Teagues Galaxy seemingly losing control of this game. It's been errors. I'm sure that to that extent you can agree with me. But now, meaning that now Teagues Galaxy needs somebody that can also be able to hold onto the ball a little bit. keep a bit of ball position, see if you can start knocking around, just to be able to hold better. Right now, I think they're just clearing more than trying to play.
I haven't seen a great proliferation of offsides in this encounter. Junior Dion caught offside there by the assistant referee, Modisa Moretzi. Nkosi, ball given away. Arrows looking to ask questions again. Kasa was a big deflection. They'll stay on the attack here with golden arrows, but the way things stand at the moment, it'll be a second point for TX Galaxy in the Betway Premiership. They'll double their tally, and Lamontville Golden Arrows will have 3 points from 3 draws and all goalless, and while they're not conceding, they're certainly not scoring. Maboso, though, to try and inject that flurry of activity into the penalty area. Dion, obviously, and then Klankler pops up at the back post. Headed away by Zulu. It's been an impressive performance from Lamontville Golden Arrows, with the exception of any goals being scored. Zwane again. Gaza struck back nicely to offer that support, and so is Edwin George for that matter, and George and Glamini going head to head.
See, just the challenges of TX Galaxy. If you see Edwin George dropping so far back, it's because nothing has been forthcoming to keep him in a higher position.
The last match between these two sides was held in Durban. It was a goalless draw on the 23rd of May, at the end of last season. And this one is heading in the same direction. It's one of those matches that Mbunjana could pop up and do something wildly creative. He doesn't, as he just overdoes his second touch, and now he's got to come back defensively. And that's really, really good work being done by Nkosi. Zwane, though, gets there ahead of Sianda Kolu and wins the goal kick as well. Does the very impressive 26-year-old. Going to be Edwin George who's going to make way, and he's going to make way for a player who does and can score goals. He's a Zimbabwean of birth, former Marumo Gallants striker Junior Zindoga.
Now with Edwin George coming out, I'm just trying to work out exactly where is Zindonga going to fit in. We know him as a wide attacking player, but is he going to go on top of the formation in support of Letswalo? We'll watch and see what transpires.
Final 10 minutes in stoppage time at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. We do thank you for your patronage tonight in the Betway Premiership and on your World of Champions. Quite the final match of round 3, although it is the final match of the weekend. Don't forget, Mamelodi Sundowns hosting Marumo Gallants in Tshwane. Don't forget that Marumo Gallants are these days playing at the Royal Bafokeng Sports Palace in their home fixtures, having moved out of Bloemfontein. So we won't have a Bloemfontein derby this season. That ball's always going wide, but having to rely on long-distance efforts now, and one can hardly blame Osborne Maluleka for trying his luck. A former Kruger United player, by the way, was with the Kruger United side who won the First Division last season. Velasi loses possession, and Mbunjana tidies up for TX Galaxy. He's that sort of important player. It'll get himself in the right areas, in the right times, but he seems to have the brief not to sit back defensively, because that work's been done by Ntandi and Corsi. Bunjana's playing much more of an attacking role that you very rarely see from the 35-year-old, but it's impressive.
Indeed. I think in this case, because he knows that Corsi is right behind him, so it gives him a little bit of freedom to venture forward. And you want him, because he's got composure about him, Bunjana, beside the short passing game that he creates, but he's also got an eye for a pass. So if he's that high up in the field, it means that the attacking players like Etswalo, Zindonga in this case, will have a chance to maybe feed from his passes.
Patience from Motaung. Victor Letsawalo, Velase, Nklankla cuts it out rather comfortably. So that's such a fabulous game, as Nklankla. No way through for Golden Arrows' Gaza. Lovely first touch from Sabelo Sitole, who's come on. Junior Dion still has been given no space whatsoever.
He is marked very tight, and his run to try and escape or give himself a bit of space to maybe maneuver and act, nothing is happening.
Sitole, fresh pair of legs, lovely ball into the middle, save from Tapeire. Suddenly there was an opportunity for Golden Arrows that they weren't able to take, but that's probably the best of what we've seen from Arrows. Besides that opportunity from Ronaldo van Neil earlier. Sitole taking the place of the former Hungry Lions player, and Twango looking a little bit frustrated. Bit of action for you again in the Betway Premiership. We said on Wednesday, but a week after that there's going to be more action. On Tuesday the 25th, TX Galaxy will be away against Marumo Gallants up in Rustenburg, and Golden Arrows will be at home against Kevin Hunt's Stellenbosch FC team. But before that, I think we'll have the semi-final first leg of the first knockout competition of the season. Lovely little touch in there from Junior Zintoga. Bunjana! Might have been offside from Seluleko Maklambi, but there was nothing from the assistant referee, Romario Perry. Oh, just needed a little bit of composure. Maybe his body language, he was just falling over a little. Great chance for the Rockets. Velase, Bunjana. That's the space they were looking for. Nsianda Kulu. Bunjana. Kulu. Of course he controls. Bunjana being relied upon here for those little deft touches. Ball doesn't reach Zindoga. And suddenly it's TX Galaxy are starting to ask a few questions. Nice touch by Kulu. Bunjana. Zindoga. Got a bit of pace about him as the Zimbabwean. It's a good ball as well. Ball wasn't ready in the middle of the park by TX Galaxy's teammates, and again good work done at the back by Motaung. Velase leaves the ball hanging in the air. Letsawalo. Velase trying to fight back, but how about this from Ayanda Gianni, masquerading as a midfielder. Advantage played by referee Michael Mosemeng, and he might have to bring them back. There's a yellow card in the offing here, I think.
I think it brings it back to that earlier tackle.
Absolutely. And Corsi joins Motaung in the book. Is that a good match, though? So 2 for the price of 1, William. As far as yellow cards are concerned, in one swift movement on the transition by Golden Arrows. Still Arrows waiting for their first win away from home against the Rockets. Gianni absolutely clattered into Brian Corsi, and then as the ball went out onto the right-hand side, there was foul play by Mkwango as well. Free kick for Abafana Bestende. Are we going to see a defining moment here? Oh, that was an awkward ricochet of Zindoga, and Arrows will stay on the attack. Still looking for that one defining moment. Abafana Bestende. There's the header. Easily claimed, though, by goalkeeper Tope Ira. Hasn't had a clean sheet yet this season. Pretty close to getting his first, as that's another mighty clearance. Makwele clears. Double change upcoming for Pitsu Dladla. Tukazani Kumalo, a 31-year-old former first division player with JDR Stars, and Pilani Kumalo, who was with Arrows before going to Royal AM and then returned to Abafana Bestende. They are both going to come on. And Ngasa is going to make way.
Around this time of the game, you normally see coaches bring in defensive players, but I guess that is still think he has a chance here. It's nice to see that is really being very positive about these changes.
So Junior Dion has made way as well for Tukazani Kumalo. They'll push forward here with Nkosi, Bunjana, Ulu. It's an impressive end to this encounter from the Rockets. Shezi doing some defending and doing well. Ball might have gone behind the goal line anyway, of the goal of Edward Mayova. So as things currently stand, except for the victory against Kaizer Chiefs in the MTN 8, and a mighty victory that was as well in Soccer City. There's been nothing in the Betway Premiership as far as goals are concerned. Nothing given away either, though, to be honest. Because Ani Kamano gets his first touch. We'll look for a second here as well. Intervention comes from Motaung. Zindoga waiting. Maluleke. He's got on the charger, Maluleke. Bunjana for company, and Bunjana just gets a little crucial touch. Kulu getting himself into a little pickle. Got himself out of it rather nicely, did the diminutive midfielder.
Very thoughtful about that action. Beside the clearance, was just looking to bounce the ball off the attacker. Looks like he's going down. Is it cramping? Can only be. He's a youngster who's only, this is what, he's that game or second?
Looks as if might very well be a bit of cramp. He's clutching the top of the hamstring. Medical staff on duty and doing a fabulous job as usual in the Betway Premiership. PSL with all bases covered as far as the protection of the players is concerned. Tope Ira, is there movement off the bench for TX Galaxy? There certainly is. It looks like Patrick Fisher, who's a former Cape Town Spurs and Cape Town City right-sided fullback. 23-year-old. He's got some skill, does Fisher. Lesawala has some skill as well. I'm not quite sure that he has the sort of pace we've seen in past years. He's 33 years old, maybe not as quick off the mark.
Yeah, when you slow down with your reaction and speed, all that, the experience kicks in. It's not so much about what you can bring with your body, but it's about knowing or learning how to position.
Zwane with a great run here. He's been marshalled and well marshalled as well by Opa Motohong. Motohong has had some moments today, and that's one of them. I think they've lost the throw-in, but Zwane is a player that could have caused far more problems than that. In the meantime, you do have Patrick Fisher, who's on for Sianda Kulu. The ball will prove unproblematic for the defense of TX Galaxy, and goalkeeper Tope Ira doesn't even react. He does now, though. He's got an absolutely massive clearance, doesn't he? Mayova trying to return the favor. Wango just about caught out of position. Zulu will return the favor, and it's a free kick for Abafana Bestende. And there's just a growing sense of desperation here. One can understand that totally. I mean, there have been opportunities for goals today, and I think both coaches will rue the opportunities that have been missed.
Yeah, that first half, I mean, those two that hit the upright.
Gianni giving Tope Ira a little bit of an irritation. He really is turning out to be what some people would call a captain fantastic. At the age of 23, way beyond his young years as far as his maturity and vision on the football field is concerned. Congo will ping it forward, or the ball nearly falls for Letsawalo. These sort of moments are exceptionally dangerous. By my reckoning, that's only the second corner in the whole match for TX Galaxy, and Zindoga across to take it. In fact, it's Patrick Fisher who will go across to deliver. But set pieces at this stage of the match causes those sort of worried looks on the face of the gentleman in the mustard-coloured top, Pitso Dladla.
Jacob Mukasi next to him.
Fisher to the back post. Zulu towards the far post from his position. And nothing happening. Referee blows for full time in KwaMahlanga. Lamontville Golden Arrows have gone 3 for 3 as far as goalless draws are concerned. But that is 3 points. They'll remain 9th on the table for TX Galaxy. Opportunity to climb 3 places up the table, even with a stalemate. And just their second point of their campaign, doubling their tally as far as